Governor Whitmer reversed course today, trying to stem a controversy that has led to a cloud of suspicion over her administration. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for Action News at 6. I'm Carolyn Clifford.
And I'm Dave LEWALLEN. Earlier this month, we learned that 2 of her top aides received sizable severance agreements when they abruptly resigned. They each led departments that were widely criticized during the COVID-19 pandemic. But due to confidentiality clauses, neither was allowed to talk about why they left.
But today, the governor changed her tune on this. 7 investigator Ross Jones is live tonight with much more on what this all means. Ross.
Carolyn, Dave, good evening. The governor was not expecting the controversy that these confidentiality clauses caused, and today she tried to stop the bleeding.
There's not much more that I can add to beyond that. That's the whole story.
Governor Whitmer has resisted telling the whole story about why her former health director resigned for weeks. But today, she did an about-face. This morning came a short statement. Yesterday, the governor and Robert Gordon agreed to waive the confidentiality provision in Robert's severance agreement. Gordon received a $155,000 severance payment just last month in exchange for not talking about why he abruptly resigned in January in the midst of a pandemic.
The reason that the governor changed her mind is because of public pressure.
Representative Steve Johnson is a Republican from Wayland.
When you're talking the top public health expert leaving unexpectedly in the middle of a health pandemic, there should be no reason to keep that confidential.
Johnson had been trying to get Gordon to testify before the House Oversight Committee, and today by letter, Gordon declined. But for the first time, he acknowledged that there was not always agreement within the Whitmer administration about COVID-19 policies. On occasion, he wrote, there were robust conversations about policy issues where reasonable people could disagree and did. This was healthy. The stakes were life and death, and different people have different roles. He did not elaborate, but Gordon did say Whitmer's actions saved thousands of lives and that he was honored to play a role in her administration.
To me, the only value in being given permission, essentially, to speak openly is if you're actually willing to speak. So the first steps have been taken, that's good, but there are still additional steps that need to be taken.
But Gordon isn't the only Whitmer appointee to leave with a payout and a promise to keep quiet. Former Unemployment Insurance Agency Chief Steve Gray left with an $86,000 severance and a confidentiality clause. Will the governor waive his too? Said the spokeswoman, we have not discussed that issue with Steve Gray and are reviewing whether to do so.
He should be able to talk about the reasons why he left. Did he do it voluntarily? Was he fired? I think those are good questions to be answered.
And while Gordon did decline the House's request that he testify, there is still a chance that the House could subpoena him, if they choose to, down the road. We're live tonight in Detroit. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
All right. Thank you so much, Ross, as always.